Adora thought it was just another braid appointment, but what happened after that would change her life completely. In a quiet town called Uru, lived a young woman named Adora. Everyone knew her not just for her warm smile, but for her hair, long, thick, black, like a waterfall down her back. She always braided her hair at one place, Oma's beauty salon. Oma wasn't just a hairdresser, she was like family. One afternoon, Adora walked into the salon, the same salon she had been going to for years. Oma was finishing up with another customer, so Adora sat patiently. Soon it was her turn. As usual, she chatted and laughed with Oma, but just as Oma picked up the comb, she paused. Her hand trembled slightly. She shook it off and began combing Adora's hair. Then, she started braiding. Hours passed. The braids were done, neat and beautiful. Adora thanked her, paid and went home. That night, she couldn't sleep. A strange pain took over her head. Not just a headache, it was deep. She couldn't take it anymore. She sat up and loosened the braids completely. She felt relieved. She assumed the braids were just too tight and went back to sleep. Then came the dream. She stood by a river, but the world around her was colorless, silent, fog filled everywhere. In the distance stood a woman dressed in a white garment, not moving, not speaking, her face hidden in shadow. Adora tried to call out, but no sound left her mouth. She woke up. Her pillow was covered in strands of hair. She was confused, but brushed it off. In the morning, something felt off. She didn't feel like herself as she got out of bed and suddenly felt dizzy. And later, as she sat alone in the living room, she felt it, that presence, like she wasn't alone, like someone or something was watching her from behind. She turned quickly but saw nothing. By afternoon, her scalp began to itch badly. It felt like tiny worms were crawling beneath her scalp. She applied oil and felt some relief. But the days that followed, it only got worse. Then, she noticed something terrifying. Her hair was falling out in handfuls. She started wearing a scarf every day, even inside the house. She couldn't bear to look at herself in the mirror. She went to the hospital. Tests were done, but the results came back clean. The doctor said, "There is nothing wrong." Adora cried, "But look at my head. I'm losing my hair." The doctor simply told her there was nothing medically wrong with her. She left the hospital, heartbroken and confused. That night, the dream returned, but this time, the woman turned fully, her face pale, blank, with no eyes. Adora woke up screaming. The next morning, her hair was completely gone. She was bald. Strange marks covered her scalp. Shaking, she went to her mother's house. She knocked, crying. Her mother opened the door, shocked to see her daughter in tears. "What's wrong?" her mother asked. Adora removed her scalp. Her mother gasped. She held Adora tightly as she cried. Adora explained everything, the itching and the strange dreams. Her mother consoled and assured her she would be fine. The next day, they went to see Pastor John. Inside his office, Adora removed her scarf. The pastor looked at her head and didn't ask a single question. He placed his hand on her head and began to pray. Then he paused, opened his eyes, and said, "This is not an illness. This is a spiritual mark." Adora stared at him, confused. He said, "Before you sat on that chair, someone else did, but that person wasn't human. She came from the water, a marine spirit. She looked like a woman but carried vanity and destruction. She came to mark a soul. And she used the comb. The same comb used on her was used on you. The moment it touched your scalp, you were cleaned." Silence filled the room. Then the pastor brought out a small bottle of oil and sea salt. He said, "For 3 days, morning and night, mix the oil and sea salt in water. Wash your scalp with it. Burn a piece of your fallen hair each time. And as the smoke rises, say these words, 'My crown belongs to me. My head is free.' Say it 3 times. On the 3rd day, the bond will break." Adora and her mother thanked him and left. That evening, Adaora did exactly as she was told. Morning and night, she washed her scalp with the water. She burned strands of her falling hair and whispered, "My crown belongs to me. My head is free," 3 times. On the third day, she felt something lift, like a heavy presence had left her. The dreams stopped. The marks on her scalp began to fade. She returned to the church. Pastor John anointed her head and prayed over her. Weeks passed. Adaora's hair began to grow again, healthier and softer. She returned to Oma's salon. Oma was surprised to see her with short hair. Adaora told her everything. Oma sat in shock, then said, "That woman, she wasn't a regular customer. That was her first time here. I didn't even guess her name." Since that day, Adaora never let anyone use a comb on her. She always carried her own comb and her own products. Moral lesson of the story: protect your hair. It is not just your hair, but your spirit. When you step into a salon, carry your own comb. And also, in a world where spirit roams in disguise, be mindful of the hands that touch your hair, because what touches your hair may touch your soul. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button for more stories.